We are back, and that was a banger right there by my man IDK, who is in the building. That was a perfect song for Toxic Tuesday. Pinot Noir
That's
right there,
crazy.
which is interesting. I mean, and welcome to the show. Y'all make some noise for IDK.
Thank you.
A man
Appreciate
with
it.
a phenomenal story, and I want to dig right in, man, just based off of, it's funny because even hearing a record like that, but you're also, prolific lyricist, and uh, your music, sometimes you can have fun, like it's all about balance. You can have a record like Pinot Noir, but then you also have more records that, like Mr. Police, and different
Yeah.
songs that are really about your own journey and just being a black man in a society that sometimes has, or not sometimes, the majority of the time, has created some difficulties and struggles for our walk. So yours specifically, coming from, you from the DMV, right?
Yeah. DC area, PG County, Maryland to
Y-
be exact.
Yeah, and then so you spent some time inside,
Yeah. For sure.
but you actually changed your life in a remarkable way, to all the way to not only being a dope hip hop artist, but being a professor with their own course at Harvard University.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
So, man, please tell us a little bit about, one, where you started, man, some of the transgressions, and then how it all turned out to be, a positive journey.
Yeah, I think like I have one of the most confusing stories. I think everybody like it's a bunch of stuff that don't kind of go together
Right.
like when it comes to me. But long story short, I was born in London, England. I came to America when I was 2 years old. My mom was from Sierra Leone. My dad was from Ghana. So they met each other in England, and then I was born, and then I came here, and I was living in basically PG County, Maryland, my whole life for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, Around like 17, between 17 and 20, I was in prison. I've been in prison and jail 4 times, so three times in jail
Right.
and one time in state prison. And in state prison is kind of where I like really started making music. I was a barber and a tutor. I used to help people get their GDs, and basically from there, when is when I kind of discovered, rap music. It was something that I was interested in doing, but it was always gonna just be a hobby. I just kind of was cool with just having like a local buzz. That was like the goal. But I
Right.
wanted to go back to school because I was in school prior to being in prison the last time.
Mm.
Um, and I was trying to do that, and then I realized really quickly that in order to do anything in the music industry, you kind of got to put everything into it.
Right.
And I started putting everything into it, and I remember my last job was 2015 at a barbershop. I used to work at a barbershop. I worked actually, that was my first and last job. The same people that hired me when I was a kid in 6th grade sweeping,
Yeah.
the same people I worked with when my last job,
Yeah, when
when I
you
was
said,
actually cutting hair.
"This is my last day. I'm gonna go be a rap star."
Yeah, they supported it, man. I remember that was one of the people on Marquette. He and Irby, them two guys. They kind of always held me down, even when I was going to prison and getting out. They always had a job for me. They always kept my spot for me. So
So,
that was a good thing that kind of kept me going. But yeah, that's like how I kind
so
of
you still nice with the
did this.
Clippers?
I'm alright, yeah. I still can cut hair. I don't like to do it though. I didn't like to do it when I was
Back
doing
then, it was just a hustle. I used to do that. My grandmother had foster kids. I was the foster baby barber. I had to cut that's how I learned how to cut hair,
For
is
real.
learning on all the kids. And then I started, $5 a cut in the hood, cutting everybody hair at school and stuff. So I know the grind.
Yeah. So then and that's kind of how I got at least to the music, and then the stuff, the teaching stuff. I always say like when people ask me what I do, my main thing is I'm a problem solver. And my true passion is teaching. I just happen to teach through music. That's one of the outlets. But my passion is teaching. So one day I just wrote a letter, an email to my entire team. I had just signed to Warner, and I sent everybody a message saying that I believe I can teach at an Ivy League school like Yale or Harvard, and I could teach music business. And why I wanted to do that was because I believe there's a lot of students, one, that would want to learn music business, but since the pressures of society make it hard for them to like want to go into that because they feel like they can't get a job. And it's a lot more realistic than people think, especially with social media now. And then two, there's so many people like me who may not have the opportunity to go to Harvard, but deserve to be in an institution like that. And also that being there could also influence and change the way they just look at the world, period, and give them the motivation they need to really become successful. So I wanted to create this hybrid class of like people who go there and then also people who don't go there, and they all kind of mix and mingle and intertwine. And nobody responded to the email. And I got upset. I felt a way about that. So then
So nobody on your team responded to it?
Nobody, because it sounded crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
I
And when did you write that email?
This was June 17th or June 29th or 17th, something like that.
Yeah.
Around that time, 2019.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So, but I sent that message out, and that's what led to, well, I sent it out, no one responded. Then I tapped the group chat like, yo, I ain't see my email. And then my independent publicist at the time was like, yo, there's some stuff at Harvard that I can probably get you up to and see where it goes from there. And I ended up going to Harvard to speak on criminal justice reform, and the rest is history with that. So,
and that's when you created the No Label Academy.
Yes.
Which even outside of, just the curriculum, these are ideas that all young artists really want to aspire to and understand. Tell me about what is the pedagogy of that you're actually putting forth.
Well, it was founded with two Harvard graduates, Miles and Marcelo, and we all came together and created No Label Academy. But what the idea was is basically, I felt like there's no reason why, in the same breath where you say, yo, I want my son to be a doctor or a daughter to be a doctor, lawyer, or IT, or all these jobs that everyone wants their children to be. I felt like you could be in the music industry and put that in that category, the arts in general.
Right.
Because there's a lot of outlets and a lot of spaces to make decent money, especially, like I said, with social media. So I kind of wanted to change the narrative of what parents looked at as success for a lot of people and make sure that the arts was in that. And then but we teach everything. Well, I teach everything from monetization, story and vision, all the way to mental health. It's a 10-day experience, 9 to 10 days, but 5 days of class. And I don't believe in tests or quizzes or the pressures of learning, because that's not how I learned. I like creating experiences. I call it organic learning. It's like putting the things that you want in a conversation of learning, so that when you actually genuinely care about it, you're more likely to retain it. So there's no need for these quizzes and things, especially not if you have like a 9-day course,
Right. And Courtney's a professor too.
Okay.
A substitute professor. She spent 8 years at the Ivy League School of FAMU.
I did some time in college.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to graduate.
But no, we
but
joke.
I went to FAMU.
She was a teacher in the New York school public system.
All age ranges, high school, middle school, and I was a substitute teacher.
Okay.
So, but it's interesting too, man, because, your story of wanting to help people, wanting to give people the game, giving them information, is that, you say that's your main purpose, but it seems like, obviously, you're an artist at the same time. If you had to do one or the other, if you only could, be the teacher or the artist, which one would it be?
Damn. How old am I?
That's a good start.
Yeah,
I mean, because I think what you're saying is because the longevity of teaching is.
Yeah, I think like if I'm 50 years old, I probably rather be teaching at Harvard than still trying to rap. Like I'll make music, don't get it twisted, but like it's like rap is so persona based. It's less about like the talent and more about like your persona and how believable you are and whatever that persona is. And for me, it's like that's like a game to me, we always say like the rap game is like high school.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to be in high school forever. So,
Yeah. You've already evolved beyond that, but I mean, I find it interesting. I mean, one, because our producer Freeze is one of the main ones that was putting us up on you, and just to see like all of the different people that you've worked with, and even now here in the Pinot Noir song, you got Saucy Santana on there talking about busting it wide open, which I didn't need to hear this morning. No, yeah. No, but I mean, like you said, it is a game, and it sounds like you've mastered it of like knowing how to put these certain songs and relationships together. The one to get the streams, to get the attention, but you and your demeanor is very laid back, very cool. How do you balance that, and what is the secret to that sauce of like how are you able to maneuver with all of the different artists that you have worked with on your last project or even current project, from Music Soul Child to Saucy Santana to
T-Pain,
Pharrell, like all of these people, like how did that come about? And is that relationship based? And then is that you just putting it together because that's the music game?
For sure. Well, first you got to look at my DNA. Like look where I come from. I'm a bunch of shit that don't really kind of make sense together, right? That's the first thing. And then the second part of it is most of it is organic. I think I spend more energy sliding in DMs for features than I do with women.
So that's that's gangster. That's more productive, honestly.
So
that's wise.
I just hit people up, and it's interesting because I remember I always use this as an example. A lot of like the biggest artists in the world, they respect what I got going on. I remember one time I took one of my rare naps. I don't ever really take naps, but I took a nap this day, and I woke up to my phone kind of going crazy. I'm like, what's happening? But I kind of know that feeling because I've gone viral for things before. So I'm like, something just happened. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's good. But I look, and it was everyone's tagging me because The Weeknd posted my album on his Instagram.
Oh, wow. Right.
Then he doubled back and said how it was like his favorite album, and he said something about it on Twitter too. And kind of like, to be honest, I noticed that that's a lot of people in the industry that one day I was like, somebody put me on to Rosalia, and I'm listening to her music for like a week straight. I'm like, man, I wonder what she looks like. So I go to her Instagram, and she was already following me.
Oh, wow.
That's always an amazing feeling.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, like that's crazy, Like, so it's like a lot of like I think people respect the art that I do and kind of my integrity. But to be honest, take all of that out of the picture, like, not to be this way, but I think like the way I move, like my heart, like I move with like a certain like integrity, and like I think that like there's a lot of good intent behind what I do, and I think that things just happen because of that, honestly.
So it's interesting, man, because like you said, you've discovered or wanted to become a rapper while you was incarcerated. So it wasn't like this was necessarily a dream, or like as a kid, this was like almost a means to an end, to one, keep you out of trouble, and then you kind of found this new vision. But some people work their entire life, or their dream, from day one is to be a rapper, to be in the music industry. Do you, like, why was it so seamless for you to accomplish it, where others are working, their whole life and don't accomplish, a tenth of what you've accomplished?
Yeah, I really think it's because I sucked at everything else. I'm gonna be honest. Like from like sports and shit, like Like, I mean, I played football. I was good at playing football until we put on equipment.
Yeah.
That was like the thing for me. And then, you know, it just was always like my whole life. The arts is what made me popular in school because it started off like drawing pictures, and then like around high school it became like how I dressed, and then obviously later in my life it became music. So I think that's what always made me stand out, and I always tried to find my purpose of what I actually was good at, and I wasn't sure. And that's why this course is so important, because it's like arts was not in the picture. It was sports would do really good in school and get a job somewhere. Like, so, you know, even though I was good at the arts, the idea of taking it seriously probably wasn't in my mind, because I you know, I didn't know if I would be able to be it would be sustainable. So yeah, I think that's what it was. It's just the perseverance of realizing that I loved something, which was music, and then putting like everything into it. A lot of people say they want this shit, but they don't really want this. Like,
Right.
it's not really like, they just say it.
It's
know?
funny
That's
because
real.
I've kind of specifically in the DMV. I was in the DC County Jail doing some programs through at Howard University, and there was a lot of dope MCs in there. And a couple people I was like, "Yo, we gonna work together when you get out," and we did some. But because you know the streets called them back, you know, to where even when trying to get it popping, especially you know the DMV area from Maryland to DC, all that stuff is. Virginia, it's intense out there.
Yeah.
Why did you make it out?
Well, I say this, you know, that I grew up in a middle class home. I just was surrounded by the hood. My school was in the hood. People from the hood went to my public school, my high school. So I learned a lot of that stuff just by being around people from that. I was so when I got locked up, I had a unique situation. I had perspective. I had like perspective of, all right, you're supposed to go to school. My parents, my mom had a bachelor's degree. My stepdad had a bachelor's degree. We was growing up in a middle class area.
Right.
So I kind of knew how to look at life in a different way, whereas a lot of people, that's all they go back to, and that's all they know, and that's all they were taught, and that's all that's around them. So it's like the chances of getting in trouble again are heightened. What's interesting is I went to jail and prison 4 times for the same thing. I didn't get in trouble again. It was violations and little dumb shit like that.
Right.
So even someone with my background that did not get in trouble again still went back to prison 4 times. So imagine somebody who's in an environment like a lot of these other people. And every time I went back,
recidivism is real.
yeah, and every time I went back, I saw some of the same people every single time. So, and not because they were still there, because they came back too.
Yeah.
So that's the system, you know. That's how it works.
So I mean, your first project was the Sex, Drugs, and Homework, right? In 2014.
Oh, you went all the way back. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So, but I ask you this question: what did you feel, or do you feel, was your big break? Like, what was that moment where you like, okay, now I'm officially in the game. I'm gonna leave the other life behind. Not even because it wasn't necessarily the street life, but just the hustle and the struggle. And I got this. I'm officially an artist, and this is my career.
Well, it's levels to that. Obviously, my first show, they paid me $3,000, but it was
that's a bag.
It was to open up for Future and Migos and Yo Gotti in Detroit. So it
that's
was
where
like,
Courtney from.
Yeah.
Oh, for real? I couldn't believe it. It was like the craziest.
What
thing
year was
ever.
that?
2016 or 15, around that time.
Okay.
Isn't that the kind of gig you would do for free too? Like,
Yeah,
at that
that's
point
the
you're like,
kind
oh,
of
you're gonna
joints
pay
you'll
me on
pay
top of
for.
it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was one, but then the step up. The other two involved, that's the funny part about it. The first one was my album, my first major label release. It wasn't out yet, and I was with 88 Keys, and
Shouts out to 88 Keys.
Yeah, he gets a call from unknown number, and it's Ye, and then he's talking to him, and he looks like kind of like not frantic, but like he's like look like he's really having a real conversation. Then he comes over to me and is like, "Yo, Ye wants to talk to you," and I'm like, "This is my first time really like, you know what I'm saying?"
Right.
And then he's like, "Yo, I heard about this album. Is he real?" And it's not out yet. You get what I'm
Oh
saying?
wow.
So, and he's like, yo, I would love to link, like, you know, connect with you sometime today. And next thing you know, I'm in his house eating lemon cake.
Wow.
That was one. And then the second one was him again.
That's crazy.
Craziest thing. I woke up one day and I said, you know, my dream car was always a Maybach. I just woke up one day, I was like, I want to go just look at some Maybachs.
Mm.
And I went to go look at my a Maybach, and I was like, I mean, a few of them, and I was like, damn, I kind of like this. I wanna get it. And at that time, my credit's like on point, everything straight. So I'm telling you, I lied to you. Now it probably took me like 15 minutes to get approved and everything, and then my house, I closed on my house at the same time.
Oh wow. Look
So-
at God.
Come on, blessings.
So then I'm on my way back home, and guess who I get a call from? It's Ye, and basically it's like he wants me to come to his house. And I'm like,
In
all
your
right.
brand new Maybach.
In the Maybach. So I didn't even go home yet. I went straight from the dealership to his house.
Wow.
And then we were chilling.
That would have been a ride, right?
Yeah.
But what's crazy is, can I tell you this? This is two crazy things. And you can look at this. I had a song snippet that I put out about a year and 1 day before I got the Maybach, saying next year it's an all-black Maybach. I was like, all-black Beamer. Next year it's an all-black Maybach. So I went to go look at the date on the way, and I'm like, that's the same. It was October
Oh, that's crazy.
like 13th, and I said that October 12th the year before. And then only thing is the Maybach was blue, it wasn't black.
Semantics.
Yeah, right. And then and I thought about it, and the funny thing is I only know about Maybachs because of Ye and Jay.
Right.
So that's why I always wanted one. And then he even congratulated me and all that stuff. So it was cool, man.
So that's when you felt like you made it. Those were the two moments.
Well, I mean, there's probably a lot of them, but that was two
That's a
that
big
I remember, like, just getting in the shower the next day, like, I can't believe, like,
This is my life.
That really
This is
happened.
life.
You know what I'm saying? Another one was probably with Pharrell too. You know.
Yeah.
So,
And what do you think about, what is it about these, you know, amazing artists that, why are they drawn to you? I mean, I know you said because you authentic, but it got to be something, because Ye don't just want to talk to people.
Yeah.
Pharrell don't just want to be like people,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Music Soul Child don't just do songs with
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
Like, even if you are on like major label or not, what is it that they tapping into you for?
I really believe people respect my art. I think that what I do is not simple, and even if I'm not as big as maybe certain artists, or even how where I want to be just quite yet, art respects art, like, because we all know that at the end of the day, anything can happen at any moment. And so you could, as long as you know this person is actually good and really pushing towards something, it could be like today one thing could be happening, and then tomorrow something else could happen. And I think a lot of people are fans of art, especially art that inspires them, because I don't have to have 20 million followers to inspire somebody with 20 million followers artistically.
Right. Now that's real.
That's good.
So, man, tell me about the new project and what inspired it, and I mean, even from the name of F65, what does all of that mean?
Yeah, I just basically took the conversation that I feel like we don't have with our counterparts as it pertains to race. As black people, I feel like a lot of our conversations are based off of issues that we've had in the past that obviously for good reason we are upset about. But I look at it like, it's funny, I have a song with Saucy Santana. I mean, if you know the DMV, specifically the hood, and I think just the hood in general, especially in the black community, there's a lot of homophobia, and I was brought up that way. That's how I was taught to be. And it took me like getting to know a bunch of different people to kind of start changing that. But like it's a thing of like, when I feel attacked about it, I'm less likely to change. I'm less likely to kind of receive information and have a real conversation. And so I took this album and I said I want to make a bunch of feel good music, but I want to talk about some shit that's like really important.
Right.
And the conversation is supposed to feel good even though it's not good. That's what F65 is about.
The uncomfortable conversations in a comfortable environment type of thing.
Exactly.
So I mean, obviously we heard the we heard the Pinot Noir joint that feels like the balance of like, oh, it's some turn up, it's some it's some toxic trap, talking that talk, but like, like you said, the vibes is still soulful. On the other end of the spectrum, what's on F65 that we should be listening for?
Well, it's like a song I got called Pit Stop on there that I feel really strongly about. And then also Mr. Police is one of my favorite ones to make because that's the epitome of what I was trying to create. That's exactly what I tried to capture on this album was through that song.
Dope. So we definitely gonna jump into that. I mean, obviously we got our chat here going crazy. They tapped in, and I mean, are you on AMP? If not, you got to get on AMP, man.
I'm about to get on it.
Yeah, because then what is dope? You can have all your fans. You could just come on here, play the whole project, and then just see them talk back to you and engage. And you can play anything you want to play, and it's like it really just empowers everybody who has the app to create conversation and community. So it's real dope to where you get that instant gratification, but it's the dialogue. So it's almost like what your albums really are all about. You know what I mean? So like to me, like you the perfect cat for AMP because you could just jump on here, talk your shit. You know what I mean? Play music that inspires you and all that. So what would you say is your biggest music inspiration, or even what music inspired F65?
Oh man, I mean, that song has a Smokey Robinson sample, but I chopped it the same way.
Which one has a Smokey joint? Pinot Noir.
Yeah, but
because I thought that was the Michael Jackson sample. That was
see that part didn't get cleared. But you gotta remember though, De La Soul, they made Break of Dawn.
Yeah.
They sampled Michael
the
Jackson.
Michael Jackson joint. So you just did the Smokey side.
Exactly.
Smart
so
man.
Yes.
So that's how you got it through. I see what you brilliant. But in that sense, man, you do have a lot of soulfulness in your music. So is that from your parents or like?
Probably partially that, but I had this thing of like it's always about cars. I had this thing where I was like driving. I had a AMG at the time, and I would always love like speeding to like jazz music. Like I would come from like a date or something.
Speeding to jazz music. You was on your Miles Davis shit.
Yeah, it was like I would come from like a date or something. We would be like probably some sushi or something, and I'm either headed back to my spot or to drop her off or whatever, and I put on like K-Jazz and just start speeding in the AMG. And like the juxtaposition was just so crazy. Like it was like a lifestyle,
like smooth jazz and you rugged in the streets.
Yeah, or like even up tempo jazz.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was like such a feeling that was very unique and new, and I was like, I want to make the album for speeding to jazz music. And that was the bed of the melody, the melodic bed of the album, and basically that's the influence. Jazz is my favorite type of music in general. So.
Nah, that's what's up. Well, we are honored to have you here today, and I do this with everybody who sits in that chair, but you are someone as a Harvard professor is probably going to handle this even better than most. But there's no right or wrong way to answer these questions. It's called Life Lessons in Less Than 60 Seconds. I got a bunch of questions. All you got to do is fill in the blank, whatever you feeling, and catch your vibes. I'm my best when I'm
alone.
Facts, I understand.
In the shower when I think of things. In the shower.
Right, there it is. We were talking about being alone in the shower earlier, but that was a whole nother conversation. I learned to never
lie. Yeah.
I thank my
mother. Get me in trouble sometimes.
Facts. I thank my mother for teaching me how to
teaching me how to. I thank my mother for making sure I was an American citizen. that was I didn't care at the time being in the immigration office. It was so annoying. Now it's like 2 passports. That's what's up.
No, double passport.
3 passports actually now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fire. What other 3 passports?
Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone, America, and the UK.
And UK. Yeah.
That's dope. I always regret not.
I just thought about something today of the one thing I regret, and now I can't remember that shit. I always regret not being honest if I ever am not.
I want to be remembered for
Being honest.
my favorite lyric or quote is.
Ooh. Damn. Ooh, I made this one up a long time ago in prison. Fantasy without reality is insanity.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a bar.
Yeah, so you got to make it real or you crazy.
Yeah,
I want to teach at Harvard.
yeah.
That would be crazy if I didn't do that shit.
I love that. Fantasy without reality
Reality
is
is
insanity. We're gonna put that up as an IDK quotable right
Yeah.
there. I wish I would have told my ex.
I wish I would have. I feel like I told her everything. Or them. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would have told her. I feel like I'm cool with like all of them.
You said enough.
Yeah, I said it.
My
yeah.
best quality is
You really want me to say it again?
is honesty.
I feel like honesty. Yeah.
Your worst quality is
Impatient. I don't be having patience for like repeating myself and stuff like that.
I'm my most relaxed after I.
Take a Epsom salt bath.
When I'm excited, I grab my.
When I'm excited, I grab my. Damn, when I'm excited, my phone. I don't know.
I will spend my last dollar on.
A Lauryn Hill show.
Oh, that's dope. I always keep a blank on me.
I mean, I always keep my phone on me, but that's probably not the answer you're looking for.
I mean, that's good.
Okay.
When no one is watching, I often.
Talk to myself out loud.
Me too.
Do you answer yourself though?
Do I answer myself? No.
Yes.
I don't.
No, you just answered yourself right now.
So then maybe I did.
And last but not least, the world needs more.
Honesty. No, world needs to be able to deal with honesty.
Talk
Yes,
about it.
Yes.
The truth.
Yeah.
It's
the
typical
truth.
for the world. We live in a world of illusion and delusion, so the truth
Oh,
scares
my
us.
gosh. It's crazy, man. One thing I say is like one of our ultimate fears. Don't steal this because I'm writing it in my book. Most of us are so afraid to look in the mirror, and I mean that figuratively and literally. But like, we cannot look in the mirror, and anybody who's a reflection of whatever it is that you don't want to see, you try to push them away, or you tell them why. You try to make whatever they say illegitimate, and I think that's one of our biggest flaws. You know.
That's real talk right there.
Yeah.
You heard it from the prolific spirit himself.
Yeah.
IDK in the building, man. We appreciate you rocking
Thank
with us here on the Daily Cannon. It's been a great conversation. You on tour in LA right now.
Well, I'm leaving for tour tonight.
Tonight's
Yeah.
the first night.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be back here in Los Angeles on the 65 tour on the 13th. Where's the
Yes.
first city?
The first city is Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. All right, man. Well, good luck on tour. Fannins, everybody in the Amply chat, make sure you check out IDK, and we're going to get into that pit stop joint
Yeah.
that we was talking about right here on the Daily Cannon. Anything else y'all want to say before we get up out of here, ladies?
I love y'all. Have a good day.
Yes.
There it is. Let's get in the pit stop.